Right. So I would like to introduce a new idea uh, that's very relevant to ongoing work together here. So just talk maybe for like 10, 15 minutes or less, and then we'll go into meditation. Um, that will also bring that idea. And the idea was also in the homework. This concept of the deficiency story. Deficiency story, it's a concept that I like from Scott Killaby, but it appears in psychology as limiting beliefs, having limiting negative beliefs or core negative image. But I like this formulation of deficiency story and deficiency story self, because it's not just a deficiency story, it's the feeling that I am deficient, is the feeling of myself, my identity is deficient. And so what this refers to is some kind of sense of, it can take different flavors, but some sense of being inadequate or flawed, or it can have the strong flavors from really intense dark to just like ice creams, deficiency story, different flavors of ice cream. So it can look like I'm broken, I'm not good enough, I'll never amount to anything, I'm unlovable, or I used to be good but I've been damaged or hurt. I'm scum. I'm surprised. I once worked with a beautiful, wonderful being, and she had this, that she is scum. And it's very shocking because from the outside, it's like, from my point of view, it's totally bullshit. It's not true, but it's very convincing for the owner of the deficiency story. Okay, it can take the form of, there's something wrong with me, I'm unlovable, unworthy of love, unworthy of success, or it can be in some areas of one's life, like there's something wrong with me in relationships, or there's something wrong with me as a mother or as a father, or we are talking about bringing this concept of very important concept of the work of the deficiency story that you're already, I think, familiar with. So this, usually this is subconscious for most people. Somehow on top, we don't feel like that, but then this comes in the form of, sometimes when we are stressed or something happens, or it takes the form of the voice in the head, the inner critic or the inner judge. The stronger the deficiency story or identity, the stronger and harsher is the inner critic and the inner voice, and the harsher and hostile or unloving is the tone of the voice in our head. And it can also talk like, what's wrong with you, what's the matter with you, you're fucked up, or what's, like scolding, somebody scolding us and being harsh and negative. The origin of this, basically, we are innocent. The origin of it is that the more we had unloving beginnings, let's say the parents were either not present, or they were alcoholics, or they were in some drugs, or they had their own pain, or anyway, for whatever reason, if we didn't get like loving, respectful attention, basically that's what the child needs to be attuned to and felt and seen, and the child needs to kindness and support. So if we didn't get that, and instead of that we got let's say absence. Actually, it could be that we didn't get a lot of shit, but there was absence. Nobody was there to give us what we needed as a child. Or if we got somebody who was critical or negative, or even somebody who was hot and cold. Sometimes somebody was loving and caring, but then they will just lash out sometimes, and then they will go back to being nice. Even this intermittent, explosive kind of treatment, put downs, this kind of criticism, put downs, yelling, also anything to do with, you know, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, you know, shouted at, kind of weird punishments, physical treatment, physical abuse or sexual abuse. Any of this, basically, we have no choice, but this starts to develop in us. So, yeah, so it's basically due to a lack of wisdom and love from the environment where we were raised. So the child is absolutely, is not his fault at all. The stronger this harsh environment, the stronger this negative core image. But even if we had, you know, good parents and they were loving and all that, still there are many chances we develop this, you know, in a more like not smart enough, or, you know, in more subtle forms. You know, it's very pervasive. I was very surprised when I started to work in this field to see, and also going with Mankind Project groups and witnessing work of hundreds of men and myself, and seeing like smart, handsome, loving, wise men and women who are basically tortured by this whisperer, you know. Okay, so that's why I bring it up. This is very important to part of the work, is to work with this. And the work is, first of all, to become aware of it. Often we are unconscious of it, and it just comes sometimes. Become aware of it, and then to study it. The more, because what happens, this comes, and then it's perceived as me, and me talking to me about me, and me being, you know, bad, and me scolding me for being bad. So to start to really study it, and become aware of it, and really see it for what it is, and then gradually, through being so deeply aware of it, and investigating the truth of what it says, two things will happen. Is that we realize that what it says is not true, and then that this voice is not me, and that one that the voice talks about doesn't exist. So it starts to, yeah, starts to diminish, like that. In the video with the Scott Killaby, with he gives this very precise method that is a way to not let it be, it's in the closet, you know, to really to bring it up and see it in the face for what it is. And then, so this deficiency identity is made up of some, it has a audio, so it says some thoughts, there's some thoughts or some images, or some negative talk. But, you know, that's the mental aspect of it. There's also the emotional aspect, the felt sense, because when this is negative like that, when we feel unworthy and unlovable and broken and all that, this comes with like really negative, contracted feelings in the body, with like tightness and agitation, or depression, actually, you know, anxiety, self-loathing. It's a lot of negative states in the body. Yeah, so there is a mental channel with what it says, and there's the feeling channel with how it feels in the body, and then there is like the chronology of because of this or that, seeming evidence of this or that. So part of the working with it is to really it also, it has power by being in the subconscious, you know. If we really say, okay, man, let's see, let's bring it on here, let's really see it from awareness, from that which perceives, and to dismantle, then we are, it has less power, you know. Also, it will gradually, we'll see that this is not me. So we see that I'm that which is aware of it, I'm the perceiver of it. Yeah, so this is very imperative to become aware of it and find ways to not believe it, and then to because as long as this exists, first of all, it's very, brings a lot of misery. It's like a party pooper in our life. uh, Also, you know, our consciousness, it being like God's consciousness, is some creative power, and then this is like a filter that says, oh man, this or that bad stuff. So this is like a sunglasses, negative sunglasses. So then we are going to perceive the world distorted through this filter, and then we are going to keep also, if we feel like deficient and bad somehow, and we believe it, there will be this subconscious self-sabotage. And in order to confirm the story, you know, so it can't be that if I'm rotten and bad or unlovable, that I'm going to be successful. So, and many people, you know, there's this subconscious, and then they have lots of gifts and they are doing a lot of good stuff, and then it's just going and it's going, but then it kind of collapses, you know, because somehow, in order to, yeah, so it's very much correlated with self-sabotage with health, with relationship, with work, with then we are choosing subconsciously partners or attract mates that we are very attracted at the beginning, but they are matching subconsciously. They will be in a certain way that they will give us back this reflection that we still believe, you know. So yeah, so from one angle is the most painful and the most false aspect of our ego or false personality. So this aspect that we are talking here is connected to the shadow work aspect. So my idea is to develop the ability to be aware and conscious, and then start to not let this get undetected, you know. Yeah, like negative self-image, and it's from one angle, it's an internalized bad parent, that the parent is no longer there, or even the parent might have changed now, is reformed, is no longer an alcoholic or something, or but then we carry this thing like a bad, somebody bad scolding us, and then it manifests also in yeah, this being unkind towards ourselves, self-criticism, self-loathing, self-judgment, self-pity, self-deprecation. um, yeah. Yeah.
You're saying, just to, if I'm clear, is that there's been potentially situations in my childhood or that I was given the message or the words or the wordings, either consciously or subconsciously directed at me, that created like some sort of understanding, subconscious or actual like words that I use in situations to make myself feel better or in that situation, or is it just like designed to make myself like why would I keep up something, you know, that's like sounds negative, you know? Like how, can you give me I guess an example of some
So the question is like, if it's so harmful and negative and distorted, why do I maintain it? Why do I
Yeah.
believe it?
Yeah. How does it come up subconsciously in my behavior? If, like, say I was like, I don't know, I feel like I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve love from the feminine energy. So
Yeah.
it's like, if that came from my mother not loving me over accumulation of events, and then I'm like faced with like, say, a new partnership where there's like a lot of loving energy, and feeling triggered, and maybe she, some stuff happens and she leaves. And is that where the stuff comes in, where I'm gonna be like, damn, I'm not good enough, or like how?
Yeah, I follow your question. Yeah. It's a complex. So there are more things combined here together. So let's take the case that somehow the mother or the father, the parents are absent or toxic. And we had this beginning like this, that we're not loved or like encouraged. That missing, that we got something that we needed that's missing, yeah. And then now later, let's say, because we had this deficiency of positive feminine energy. I'm talking about your case. I mean your case. This is archetypal. I have this too. So the deficiency of being loved early on by the feminine. So now we are going to have this strong impulse to seek that, which is very natural, to seek that, to be loved by the feminine, and to really, this is a main drive, and it can be totally unconscious. We are just very attracted to them and the sexuality and all that. And then as this we are going about now relationships, at the same time that, let's say, love wound, abandonment or rejection, when we find somebody that's a good, good relationship or feels like this, then this evokes in us the fear, and it's like really subconscious terror and panic of that I am going to be abandoned. We are not aware of this, but this can come up. It can come up in strange ways. It can come up by, you're in a good relationship, everything is good, and suddenly one day you were like, you know what? I don't feel anything anymore. I'm done. I'm done. I don't feel, I got bored. Next. So it can come really like no emotion. Suddenly the thing stopped, and that is almost somehow some kind of protective mechanism to avoid being in a position to be rejected or abandoned. So the system protects itself. So it's better to not get too close, and not to get too intimate, because then this will happen.
Yeah, man, it's a tricky balance, right? Because it's like subconsciously, you can't help just like going after what you want. You want to be loved. There's deficiency there. So it's like, where am I seeking this? And like, that's already taken away a bunch of energy and time that could have been like it's like you can't even help it, right?
Yeah.
So once you get there, you feel the trigger. We're actually blessed to be able to work on it in that situation, but evolving into that state where it can just be spoken about, not like angry situation because I'm feeling triggered.
Yeah.
Like.
So let me get a little bit more, because what I described so far, it's not even about the deficiency story. This is more the love wound, it's called, and it's about the attachment wound of abandonment or rejection. And this can manifest like basically wanting deep connection, but avoiding intimacy, which can manifest in suddenly getting bored, or actually wanting to engage a lot in to have more, more to have, avoidant not to get too close, and to have more polyamorous, whatever. Although it doesn't necessarily mean that all polyamorous is wrong, not at all, but it can manifest of multiple relationships or this or that. Also, this may manifest that now I'm in the relationship, but because of whatever, now I'm out of integrity. Something happens, and then there's some undermining of the relationship that breaks trust. You know, so let's say we go into some behavior which is unethical, coming from pain or from wound of, let's say, lying or hiding or cheating and all that, and then basically that comes to the surface, and then the partner is upset with us, and then we are like, now we have shame. Now we're like, man, I fucked up. Why did I do this? Man, there's something wrong with me. So now then you know, it reinforces that the thing. So we have we have shame, guilt. Then if this is not processed and not learned from it, you know, we have now new stuff that, oh man, I'm an asshole, man, and we from one angle I want it, but then I dislike myself because I've been doing all this. So then I undermine myself, you know.
I think that's what I'm at.
Yeah, yeah, it's a clusterfuck. Yeah. Yeah, I think we can actually, I can change my plan. We can engage a little bit in some conversation about it, and I can do the meditation later. So if there are any, you know, yeah, what about this? Any questions or side comments
Sorry,
on this?
just like had that question.
No, that's, I think I'm going with the flow, and it's better, you know, since it's on the table, to talk about it.
Yeah, I think we all do.
Isn't that why we're here?
Yeah.
I mean, it comes up, you know, let's say we're taking out from the relationship, it comes out, let's say somebody is doing a lot of substances and drugs out of existential sense of lack, or out of trauma, out of managing pain. We discovered that this works, and then we get hooked and we get addict, and then out of being addict we hurt people, and then we feel like a piece of shit, and then I feel guilt about what I have created, suffering for all these women, or I stole from my parents or whatever, and then this is unprocessed. So there is this feeling that I'm bad, and then I'm very good in many areas of my life, but somehow I'm starting this business and everything is going well, and then, you know, there's some sabotage of the business somehow, because there's a feeling basically that subconscious deficiency story that I don't deserve. I'm not worthy of being happy. I'm not worthy of being successful. Why? For subconscious reasons, that I'm rotten, that I do this or that. So it's all these illusions, you know. But as long as they are not brought to the surface and explored, they have power over our reality. They have power of our movie, you know. Also, this is from the point of view of having harmonious, positive life experience, you know. And one actually can be relatively not so much into spiritual interest, or not somebody who is not so interested in awakening or consciousness or you know, enlightenment or stuff like that, but they were fortunate to have nice parents, and then somehow they are naturally more healthy, and they have a natural good self-esteem, you know, and natural sense of trusting oneself. You know, this actually would be natural if we had a good family environment. We would be much less fucked up, basically. But from the point of view of now, somebody is interested in awakening and consciousness and who am I, and like, you know, all this spiritual stuff. It's interesting, this deficiency story, because basically this there's part of awakening is to study the false identity, the identity. And then there's this I am bad identity. It's not just a thought. It's a sense of myself being bad. And then this is not the real me, This is not the real me at all. This is like it's called in many spiritual traditions, like let's say ego, but it's been overutilized and it doesn't mean almost anything anymore, or it's associated with, oh, it's a big ego, that somebody, they are arrogant and full of themselves. But somebody can have a big, ego is not just being like this, big and full of it. Like sometimes people in politics are like that, you know what I'm talking about. But it can be somebody with like, it's a very strong ego, the one that has a lot of self-pity and victim thoughts and feelings and self hatred. Is also this the same ego, is just instead of being in an inflated version is in the deflated version, and the ego is more like in these teachings is the sense of the felt sense of being a separate person, of being like a person, of being a separate entity that is separate from the universe, separate from other people. And basically we all have this. Basically this is the first program of consciousness, being identified with the body. And it's unavoidable. It's unavoidable to identify with the body as a child, and then to have this. At the beginning, we don't have that. We're not sure that this is my body, and but then we hit ourselves, and then we learn, and it's good to learn. We play tennis. Okay, but then we start to use the body, but then there's this identification of the presence of that which is aware of the real I, is identified with the body. And a little later, due to wounding, the sense of presence is identified with the mind, And then if it is also the story of a rotten, then so this is the most tight, the most painful, the most it's the ultimate party pooper in our life. So practically, it is important to be brave and to receive good information and maps. That basically we need to find out exactly what is our story of being deficient. What does it say? To know what it says, to know when it comes up, to know how it feels, and to find ways to be awake to it, not to be hijacked by it. This is identity theft, and to start to be, oh wow, this is coming again, this is interesting, and to be informed, and that this is not me. To not be identified with it, and to be the observer of it. And then in psychology, they call it, even in regular psychology, cognitive behavioral psychology, they talk about, in a regular talk therapy, that, it's important to identify these limiting beliefs about ourselves, and then to challenge cognitive distortions, basically to challenge negative beliefs we have about ourselves, to challenge the truth of those thoughts, and to realize, because I have these thoughts, I'm suffering a lot, but maybe these thoughts are not true, so it's still very across the board, even in spiritual unprogramming, awakening work, as well as regular psychology. That's very important type of work.
Do you suggest we identify our deficiencies?
Yeah, it's important. It's to know what is my story, what does it say, and what does it say, So to find out the actual script, and then also to know when it comes, and to observe how it feels in the body, and to know when it comes, and what is triggered by, and then learn to not identify with it as me. Also, I mean, it's important if we are somehow, if we are out of integrity with our word and stuff, and we are breaking our agreements with ourselves or others, and we do things that are not aligned with being, we do all kind of stuff. Our conscience knows that this is not okay. And then we have pangs of conscience and telling us that, man, this is shame, basically. And so, but there is here with shame, we have like healthy shame. Healthy shame is like, man, I fucked up. This was not good. I hurt somebody or myself. I created harm through this behavior, and so that's not good. So this healthy shame or regret or conscience pang, it's very useful actually. People who don't have that at all, they end up really being like antisocial, criminal, serial killer and all that. So the problem is that when the shame is like a toxic shame. The difference between healthy shame and toxic shame is that healthy shame is like, I did something bad, I fucked up. And toxic shame is that I am a fuck up, I am a rotten, So in order to help with this dismantling the deficiency story is also to stop doing things that are out of integrity. Yeah. Are out of integrity, and so processing, and this happens. I recently, I still do things that were out of integrity with my spiritual values, with truth, love, and honesty, and due to childhood patterns. Yeah, I'm not. It's usually this out of integrity behavior comes out of some wound, and out of integrity behavior is some type of strategic adaptation we developed. Yeah, so from one angle, we are innocent. However, we are not kids anymore, and we can't blame our parents anymore. So we are innocent of it. However, we are the owner of the shit. We need to clean it up. You know what I mean? So
I struggle with that
Yeah.
real fucking bad.
with
That-
what?
Not me having to deal with my mom's or my parents' shit. That shouldn't be put on me. Like, that was their decision to put on me, so I have to clean it up. I don't think that's fair. Sorry, but I don't.
Well,
Get it, girl.
why cleaning? What I mean by cleaning it up, let's say I'm let's say lying, or I'm cheating, I'm doing something that is as an adult, this is not okay with uh, universal ethics, and so that is my job to clean it up. That's what I mean. Or shouting at somebody and being hurtful towards others, this will haunt us, I mean. And then it happened because I got triggered, and I got triggered because I have my triggers because of childhood stuff. But it's my ship now.
I actually just went through that this week.
Yeah.
Like, gigantic garbage spiral.
Yeah. Yeah. So
It's exhausting.
what I would like to do now is drop in and just to go into more like, not just in this kind of thinking mind, which is helpful now, but to kind of drop in and go into some meditation mode, and then yeah, go with that. And I will intentionally evoke some of these things so we can have a chance to observe something about our deficiency story, you know? Yeah. But for now, you know, forget about all this if you can, so we can kind of, we don't need the mind anymore and thoughts and thinking. So let's take some time to just tune back to just being present in the here and now. Become aware of the body breathing. And take a little vacation from engaging with thoughts. Staying with this now breathing awareness. Becoming more aware of the body as well, and the contact between the body and the chair, the body and the floor. So becoming more aware of sounds, sensation like the breeze or the air on the skin, temperature. Just being in the now. Just the now. Doing our best to not go into the past or the future. We can also, we don't need to focus on the breath anymore. We can simply now just welcome and be aware of the totality of your experience as it is unfolding from moment to moment. And without focusing into anything in particular, just notice sounds, notice energies in the body, in the chest, in the belly. Also, the mind will still produce thoughts, most likely images, memories. Notice those without trying to change anything, without trying to figure out anything. It's more like just noticing and allowing everything to be as it is, yet not drifting, not going into the past or the future. And whenever we notice we might have been hijacked, we can just quickly hop off and come back to being present in the now. And tuning into this sense of your own being. sensing that we are alive, we are aware. Becoming aware of your own wordless, aware presence. And what we call presence or awareness is that whatever it is which is hearing these words right now, that which is sensing feelings in the body, that same reality, because it is real. Something is real here, perceiving. That is hearing the birds, that is aware of thoughts. So it helps to not focus into anything and to open the attention. So we are globally present. Sounds, sensations, thoughts. Without trying to change anything, without trying to get rid of anything. Just noticing and allowing everything to be as it is. And while staying this present, the open, relaxed attention, just witnessing, let's just welcome something, something that, some aspect, thing that, any part of us that we think there's something wrong with me, there's something not quite right about myself. Any sense of, welcome any sense of feeling too much or too little, or a sense of being deficient in any way. So now we just simply allow and see whatever comes up. It can come up as a inner voice or some image, random memory, or it can come up as a inner reaction. And our job is to just notice it without engaging with it. Yeah, just one item, anything to do with deep down, secretly feeling not good enough for some reason or in some way. And simply notice and allow whatever comes up, maybe something in the mind or some thought, it said something. And so let's stay with the mind aspect, with the mental aspect. So just see that whatever it says, as if it's like written as a news flash in the mind space. Here, as if we have an IMAX and it says, or it's written, whatever that is. Or maybe there's a voice that says, hey, you know, you're like that, or you know, this usually often comes, they are very familiar, but we are mesmerized by it. Now just stay aware. Just notice whatever it says. Or maybe there are different things. So you are like this and like that, and you're doing this and you are not like that. Just allow. So what's happening now, we are noticing thoughts. These thoughts are either images, it's a subtitle, or is inner audio or voice in the head. And also allow whatever random images or memories, pictures, old or new, connected with that inner thought, inner judgment. And now I would like you to take, you know, like 2 fingers and also tap on your forehead. So tap on your forehead and keep noticing if there's any thought, any memories, just let them be. It's like a collage. They come. And you are that which is aware of the thought. You are not the thought. We are obviously that which is aware of the thought. So notice the thought. Also notice the sensation of tapping. And hear the sound of tapping. Notice also this space, this inner head space in which the thoughts and the sounds and the images arise. Yeah, this is meant to help disrupt the identification, being sucked into the voices. Yeah, just be present. Just be, hear the sound. And naturally, probably the thoughts are more dispersed or it's hard to happen. And now let's stop tapping. And bring your awareness away from the head. Bring your awareness to the body, to the area of the chest or belly or throat. And simply notice, like a scientist, whatever sensations are present, wherever there's any sense of maybe there's some tightness or heaviness or not, or maybe nothing at all. Just stay present and contemplate this frontal line, chest, belly, and throat. Without trying to change anything, without trying to get rid of any sensation. Let go of trying to resist. Just allow whatever energy is there without trying to understand or figure out. So some of us, we may feel something distinct. Some of us may be collapsing, discharging, or some of us may feel like nothing. Whatever the case is, it's okay. And if there's any sense of unpleasantness in the body, just take another minute or so to really allow that unpleasantness to be and observe it like a scientist, inch by inch, frame by frame. With benevolent indifference, meaning that we don't want to get rid of it. It's just a sensation, energy. And now ask yourself this question and check. Am I this thing in my body? Am I these sensations, this cluster of sensations in my body that wasn't here like 30 minutes ago? Am I this sensation or am I that which is aware of it? Which one is me? Am I this feeling, this energy, or that which is aware? And that in which this feeling arises. Yeah, it's a simple question that we look and check, not mentally, but experientially. Who am I? Am I this permanent energy, sensation that is changing, collapsing, or am I that which perceives it? And here we have the only choice in town. We have a choice to go along with feelings and stories in our head, to go along with what we are not, like a thought or a feeling, or to rest as what we really are. This aware openness, this presence which is aware of the sensation of the traffic, So at this point, I would like that we go to what we really are. So stop focusing into the body, open the aperture of attention. Yeah, zoom out like in Google Maps. And really notice this open, empty background, the spaciousness. The sense of being present here in the now. Yeah, be fully present to also there are sounds, is the temperature. If there's any residual energy in the body, it's okay. It doesn't need to go away, by itself. Just take like a minute or so to just be this being that we are. Which is aware yet free from these stories and sensations. Just allowing ourselves to be without past or future. Sensing this I am. Noticing the peace of the background. Witnessing whatever is happening, yet uninvolved. Just for a little bit more, just do nothing. Allowing everything to be as it is.